What's up, everybody? My name is Logan. Welcome back to The Contrarian. Now, today I'll be talking about a different topic and a different kind of idea than what you might hear out there typically from me. And I'm actually taking a serious look into Russian stocks right now. And this is obviously a very beaten down sector right now. It's hard to actually find a more beaten out sector right now than Russian stocks. I mean, the Russian indices are anywhere from 80 to 90% from their all-time highs. And some stocks are down as much as 98, 99%. So there's a lot of value out there right now. There's companies that we're trading, in the, typical, 10 to 20 PE multiple range, now down at like a 0.2, 0.5 PE multiple. So simply unheard of PE multiples out there right now. So there's arguably some really dirt cheap stocks out there in the Russian stock market right now. But before I get into this, I obviously have to make a disclaimer that I'm not recommending or suggesting any sort of financial advice. There's obviously a ton of unknowns in this whole situation right now. And because of this, there is a ton of risk that goes along with considering purchasing any of these stocks, and etc. I'm also not invested in any of them right now, so don't take this as some sort of recommendation or anything. Just bottom line, this is not meant to be taken as advice in any way. I believe a major question surrounding the Russian stock market in general has to do with, how long does this current conflict between Russia and Ukraine last? Is it sort of a short-lived conflict that is resolved in a matter of a few weeks, or is it significantly longer? Right now, the market is pricing in it lasting a lot longer, as well as the current sanctions on Russia lasting a lot longer than they currently are as well. So in order for stocks to really make a comeback, these questions would need to begin to be answered, and also the current sanctions on Russia being banned from SWIFT, and all of the current kind of individual measures that certain countries have taken, even certain trading organizations have taken, would also need to change in order for the stocks to even consider being in sort of a bullish environment where they've been in an extreme sell-off over the last just 10 days. It's pretty insane how quick these indices have dropped 90+% in just a matter of several days. It's been pretty insane out there. But, there's a lot of unknowns in the whole situation. Arguably, the U.S.'s largest action against Russia has been in the financial realm. It has not really been boots on the ground. Obviously, the U.S. has not yet actually put troops from the U.S. over there in Russia or in Ukraine. But it's definitely been more on the financial side that the U.S. has been waging war against Russia. Obviously, there's the ban from SWIFT, as well as other sanctions on Russia. Trying not to import as much oil from Russia, which obviously is sending oil prices sky high right now. But it's almost a question in my mind of how long can these sanctions really last, because in a way the US, and more so Europe, really does need Russian oil and Russian gas. Europe especially, I mean, natural gas in Europe right now, this is a crazy statistic, but natural gas in Europe right now is about 13 times more expensive than in the United States. So that's insane. I mean, Europe obviously is importing a lot more of their natural gas from countries like Russia. U.S. thankfully isn't importing natural gas, or actually a net export of natural gas. But I mean, Europe and natural gas alone could be maybe sort of the breaking point of the effectiveness of these economic sanctions that have been put on Russia. But this has had serious effects on Russia's economy. Obviously, it sent the stock market into an extreme recession, extreme sell-off that we've almost never seen before. It's also devalued the ruble immensely against other currencies and against gold and other stores of value. So the ruble has been hurt immensely. But it's more so a question of how long can these sanctions last, in my opinion. That almost determines where these companies on the Russian stock market could go. I mean, Europe is in a much more difficult situation with energy prices than the United States. They might begin to buckle a lot more soon on these sanctions that they've put in place. Obviously, it's more serious of an issue for Europe itself, but I mean, energy is practically the most important commodity out there aside from food. I mean, energy goes into producing basically everything that goes into a modern life right now. So natural gas, oil, these are essential commodities, equally as important as other things like wheat. I mean, so it might almost be a case of where these sanctions that have been put on Russia by other European countries really can't last very long. I mean, it's also a question, this is obviously unanswerable, of just how long is Putin planning on, taking this whole invasion. I do not know, and really I don't think many other people know out there right now except Putin and maybe another few people around him. So there's just so many unknowns out there right now, but I'm really trying to make all of you aware of just the massive value plays that could be out there in the Russian stock market right now. I mean, we're talking about companies that are below dirt cheap right now. I mean, they're top-notch companies. They were top-notch prior to this whole event, and they've been sold off like nobody's business right now. I mean, the U.S. has been removing them from indices in the U.S. stock exchange. There's a lot of unknowns with regards to, if certain people, if you're in different countries, you might not even be able to purchase these stocks right now with just different restrictions that are currently put in place. But all that being said, if this conflict does resolve, if a ceasefire is reached, if circumstances change, this could be a magnificent rally behind a lot of these heavily sold off value companies in Russia right now. I mean, looking at some Russian oil companies, I mean, with oil being as high as it is right now, I mean, especially with how much these companies have sold off, 95% in the last 2 weeks, there's just some extreme value out there. But again, I'm not trying to provide financial advice in any way. I'm just trying to make you guys aware of some potential opportunities out there, and maybe something that does change very quickly, or maybe it just continues to get worse from here. But we are kind of witnessing some sort of historic event. I don't quite know what it could be yet, but yeah, we'll really just have to wait and see what ultimately happens with regards to Russia and Ukraine. I do hope that it obviously resolves quickly, but we really don't know yet. So all that being said, let me know what you guys think about this topic of Russian companies. Consider purchasing Russian companies. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. If you liked this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down and let me know why down in the comments, and I hope to see you again.